Musha, today we shall be talking about a very important subject, in fact. English is very much an in thing in our country. If you do not know English, it is not possible for you to find a locus standi anywhere. So now the question is, in so many other countries, English is not a compulsory subject at all. They don't need to learn English. Rather, English is optional. But in our country, it is mandatory. It is compulsory. What is your opinion? Do you think English should be abolished from our academic education?
If the question comes about the abolished, this language or the subject wise based on if you tell English, so I personally feel it should not be. I disagree with this abolishment of English as a subject in our educational sector.
But you know very well that it is because of English only that many students find it difficult to crack an exam.
So if that be the case, so from the very basic we should give the paying or we need to give our attention. So whenever the child or whenever the students grows up, whenever the student goes with the higher study at that particular point in time, he or she does not have any sort of difficulty, smoothly they can appear the exam, even they can crack the exam also.
Moreover, if we do not lay emphasis on our mother tongue, it is often found that our mother tongue is very much neglected. In that case, I think it is very important for us to, remove, if not abolish English, make English optional so that students take their own mother tongue more seriously.
No, I don't think so. There is nowhere mentioned over here if a student studies English subject, so for that reason his or her the mother tongue he or she is going to ignore it.
No, it is not that, but you know very well that our human brain has a certain limited capacity. If you create pressure on the students, little children, to learn English as a second language, then of course it is very natural for them to find less time for their own mother tongue. So I feel that we are allowing English to flourish in our country at the expense or at the cost of our mother tongue, our
No, not at
vernacular
all. Just
tongue.
because if we pay attention a bit in the higher study levels, whenever we continue, a student is pursuing the higher studies at that particular point in time, there is no certain language except English in which students can continue. So on that basis, English should be given the equal priority along with the mother tongue. Just because in case of other countries, if you see, there may be not like India, there are many states. As in India, there are many states, so you will see in different states, different sort of languages they speak.
I think you are trying to talk about the multilingual
Yes,
nature of
obviously.
this country.
Yes.
In different states, there are different languages, and as a result, in our country, we need a common language, and English serves that purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I think if we make Hindi the common language to communicate between states, what's the harm?
Just because Hindi is a language which is really very much good, but I feel that Hindi is do not serve the purpose. What exactly the purpose we are expecting the days to come we need to receive.
No, Hindi will not serve the purpose, as you have said. But I couldn't understand why Hindi would not be able to serve the purpose. If English serves the purpose, why not Hindi?
Just because Hindi comes as like as a first language, but English always remains as a second language. Before the second language, if you put any language taking from any state, it remains always primary language. But the secondary language will be always English. So for that reason, English should be always given prioritize. English subject should be given always the importance equally to the first language. That language can be anything.
Now, if we make English optional, then I think those who are interested in English will learn this language, and
No,
there
then
are.
the students' mindset will be someone like willy nilly. They may not, just because over here the word you are going to use it, that is called optional. So whenever the option comes like optional, at the time student they do not pay much attention to the subject. So for that reason we should keep the way it is as a second language, and it should be under well teachers need to be guided. Then I
An Indian citizen who is planning to set up a small tea stall doesn't need to learn English. But in fact, when he goes to school, he has to study with the other students, even with the students who are very ambitious, and as a result, he has to learn the same subjects as those students. But it is not very important for him to learn those subjects, especially English, because he doesn't need that language. He is going to set up a small tea stall in his locality, and he knows his mother tongue. He can communicate with people in his mother tongue. So I think that his purpose will be served if he speaks his mother tongue only.
it's okay, all right. But the fact is that in our society, whatever we deal, see each and everything in English format. Start from the social media, start from the any sort of documents we are going to deal with it, start from any form we are going to deal with it. There is no first language based on the options you are going to get. On only the one option that is called based on the English subjects.
I mean, for recreation also, we see that we have to know a little bit of English.
Yes.
Because if you want to read English literature, especially there are many good English novels. If you want to get the pleasure of reading those books, you need to know that language.
Yes, definitely. And it is vigorously interested based on the person. In this
But
way,
many of those books have been already translated into our Indian languages.
just because for the publication purpose,
Yes.
the more prioritize to get the means the author. So for that reason, they are going to make an helping hand. But ultimately, the taste matters a lot.
You mean to say that if you read a translated version of a story or a novel, you will not get the same pleasure as from the original?
No, obviously not. If, for example, if we take the English flick we are going to watch, if that dubbing version, whatever with the language will be, do we get the real taste of the English movie? Obviously not. So it is someone like that. The reality is a reality. The second copy of the thing will be the different. Though it will help us, but ultimately we need to keep in our mind the purpose. The purpose ultimately is going to be solved or not.
Moreover, I have seen personally in my experience that those who know English generally become a little smarter than those who do not know English. Why it happens, I do not know. I have tried to find a reason, but in fact, I have not found any reason at all. But I have noticed that those who can speak English very fluently look a little smarter than their Indian
Just
counterparts.
because it's a very simple thing. English is an international language. First thing is that this international language makes a person smart. So for that reason, whenever a person is into this subject or into this language, a person automatically develops this smartness.
Does English really make people smart?
Definitely.
Or people feel
No, not at all.
self-important?
No, not at all. Whenever a person deep into this language or the subject may not be. Subject may not be, but whenever a person is really dealing the language, that language makes a person really smart enough. Just because if we see that academically most of the people they are very good at writing, but whenever they are asked to speak they are not that much flexible how much they are flexible in the writing department.
As you see in our country, you just talk about the film fraternity, film actors and actresses, or the players, especially the players like cricketers, then some good other games are also there. Those players generally speak English all the time, or mostly when they are interviewed. Even the film artists, they also feel like speaking English when they are interviewed. what is the reason? Why don't they stick to their own mother tongue?
Just because they actually are going to stick to the different language, not their own mother tongue, just because it is the comfort zone. The comfort zone matters a lot, just because right now, as the different sectors we can see that maybe a film fair award program is going on, whether a match is going on, everywhere see the English version is being used. Why
But Pusha, I think that no language, no say, foreign language can give you so much comfort as your mother tongue.
No, just because the English language all over the world almost used. All over the world, almost people they can understand. So for that reason, for the time being, as there is no second language like English, so for that reason the English is given much priority. All over the world, most of the people they communicate, even different sort of business deal whenever also takes place, whenever any sort of table talk goes on between two people, at the time also this particular one language called English takes place, and they well communicate in this foreign language.
So the knowledge of English makes a person international.
Yes, definitely.
You have access to the international ground.
Yes, definitely.
So do you think that English should continue to be compulsory in our country?
Yes, without go saying it should be, and it need to be prioritized more and more. So the days to come, those today are the students. Tomorrow, whenever they will establish themselves, so they can be much more means flourish like the flower. They can blossom freely and comfortable way with this English subject or English language.
Should English be the medium of education, medium of instruction?
Just to some extent, it can be.
Then should the Bengali medium and Hindi medium schools be shut down?
No, not at all. Just because we are not going to fully going to give the prioritize as the second language or as the second one international language, sorry, first international language, we are going to give the importance. I don't think so. If we give importance to something, so that means nothing that what we have that we are going to ignore it, that we are going to cold shoulder.
Pusha, I know that you are a South Indian.
Yes.
And now you have been here for a long time in West Bengal. So you have seen the environment in West Bengal. You have also seen the environment in your part of the country. So what differences, a basic difference do you find between these two states or these two parts of the same country so far as language is concerned?
So far as the language is concerned, in Bengal, the language which is spoken that is called Bengali, and which is really very much good indeed. And the second thing is that the language which is used in South, that is actually the own language, but in this language there are many English words are included. So for which it is quite flexible for the South people to communicate in this language, including their own mother tongue and as well as this foreign language called English, which is in Bengal, it's not possible.
Do you think that the people of South India know more English, I mean better English than the people of Bengal?
No, it's not like that. Just because, as I have already said at the very beginning, with the Bengali language, there is no mix of English language used. But in South, the language, whenever they speak their own mother tongue, at the time number of English words instead of using their own South words or South Indian language related words, they use the English word. So for that, for example, whenever they are going to use the word called Nilu, Nilu is a very common word and colloquial word, but instead of Nilu, they use the word called water.
Nilu means water.
Yes, Nilu
so
means,
instead of Nilu, they often use the English word water.
yes, often not always,
Always.
mostly.
Okay. Even the uneducated people.
Yes, even.
Okay.
So like this, there are number of words which are really help. So for that reason, there is no problem at all. And better English, if you talk about, I personally feel that as I am related with both the states, really both the states people are quite intelligent enough. They are quite flexible enough with this language. Whatever be the person, I deal with whenever I communicate with a person, whether the person is from Bengal, whether the person is from South, but I do not find any difference between these two states people.
Actually, Funsha, we can talk on this subject for hours together.
Yes.
But in fact, we cannot make a very long video for YouTube. So let us better stop here and wait for the comments of valuable comments
From
of
our
our educated viewers.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank
my
you
dear
very
friends.
much. Thank you very much.
See you again. Bye bye.
Bye bye.